Hey guys, I noticed the first video I did, part one of the training, was 18 minutes. That's good. We should be able to wrap this up in about the same time. Okay, so went through the first video. Now we're talking. Remember, we talked about your initial goal in building the business is to have what we call your launch. That's where you play hard. You try to get 10 people to view the presentation in the first month. Okay, you're brand new, you're excited, you don't know what you're doing yet, so you just say, "Hey man, I need you to evaluate." You could say, "I need you to evaluate this. I'm looking for some people. You might know the right person. Can you talk with me a few minutes?" And your goal is to get them on a Zoom. Okay, and we're going to go over the whole methodology to doing this. So this ties into the same thing. You know how you're going to do your initial overviews, but at the same time, we call this your ongoing plan. This is your consistency. So what do I mean by that? I don't. Once you do your initial 10, you don't stop. We got to keep building the business. Why would you stop, guys? Every new person you enroll could mean thousands of dollars to you in this program. So you want to keep going. There's no reason to get passive in this. You can, once you get your income, you get passive income. That's what we call it. But if more people you can help, the more money you can make, the more people you can help. Yeah. So let's just break this down. So again, this is your business. You don't have to do this. I'm giving you what I think is doable, but not excessive. Not like, I remember reading a lady that built New Skin, Laura Call. She would go an hour each day to the subway, and she'd hand out like a 500 cards to people getting going to work, and then she'd be there when they came home with different people. Of course, she handed out another 500. That's excessive, but she ended up making $1 million plus a year. So my point is, let's just talk about consistency and something I think anybody can do. If you again believe, you got to have the belief that you're doing people a favor and these opportunities will come up. Okay. So I have a little system I call it 90, 30, 10, 3, and I'll show you what that means. Okay. So here's the 90. Now you don't have to approach 3 a day, but let me get to the second part. Your goal is to get one person a day or 30 people a month, right? Roughly 30 days in a month, that we call inactivity, that they give you an indication that they want more information, whether it's about a product, to try a product, to talk to somebody, to get on a Zoom, to look at the website. They don't just say, "Nah, I'm not interested." Follow me? So to get 30 interested people, one a day, you can't talk to one person a day because then you'll need a 100% success rate, right? So let's let the numbers work for us. It's a numbers game. I don't mean we want to just don't care about people and just throw them against the wall, see what sticks. But you got to work with enough numbers to make this work for you. Okay. So 3 people a day is 90 people a month that you open your mouth to. Okay. You again, people say, "Do I know? Can I meet 3 people a day, guys?" Through your warm market, through your you call it your cold market, social media, people you meet every day. You never run out of people, especially with social media and how you can just go into your Facebook group and message one person a day. That's a reach out. As long as it's a private message, it's not like this group thing. That's good to do, but to count as a one person a day, you got to make it a private message at least. Okay, you can do that to one person a day, right? Now, if you have a conversation with them, it's even better, but at least message, get your pitch to one person a day. Okay. Any type of direct communication, I already told you. Now you can lead with product or business. What do I mean by that? If you think, I say product or service, if you think someone could lose some weight or have more energy, we have products for that. If you think someone loves travel and they might be interested in a travel agency or just having great discount travel or the rewards platform, or the savings platform. So as you learn the business, you're going to know what you like. And then, of course, as you meet each individual person, if you get to know them a little bit, you're going to, if they start completely bitching, complaining about a sore shoulder or something, you might want to lead with a product. Okay. If it takes a little longer to bring up the business, that's fine. We call it in the funnel. They're in the process of going through and eventually looking at the business model. Okay. So you got to talk to 3 people a day. Now, if I talk to one and I can put them on my list because it was positive, maybe I'll stop. But I want to just, if you can, 3 people a day. Okay. Lead with product of business. Okay. Um, and here's some simple stuff. If you're talking, now again, product is more specific to whatever their interest might be in the product or service. But if you're going to talk business, I always lead with, I like to lead with business because where else can you make this type of money? Okay. Jim, do you keep your options open when it comes to looking at ways to make additional money? That could be to a person you just be at the gas pump. Now, of course, you don't just blurt that out. You talk about the weather, the price of gas. But then you just say, well, I'm just curious. What do you do for work? I always like to ask that. Let them talk. Do you ever look at other ways to make money? All it is, it's to open up the conversation. You with me? That can be an approach. Okay. Do you know anyone? Some people don't want to be direct, especially if they call their buddy who's a Wall Street hedge fund guy. They were afraid, oh my God, what are they going to think about me? So you say, Jim, listen, you got tons of connections. Do you know anyone looking to make some extra couple thousand a month? They might know. My niece is looking, my nephew, even not them, of course, because they're all set. What happens if this happened to me for years? The people that say, well, I'm all set, once they see the program, they're not all set. They're like, oh my God, residual income. I didn't know he had this. I'm in. Okay. So you want to just get them in front of this. So however you could do that, whatever your pitch may be. Now, here's what's going to happen. It'd be great if they said, yeah, I'm open. When can we talk? Right. And then your goal is to book a little call with them. But what happens? People are pains in the ass. They're going to say, well, what is it? What's it about? What's this all about? Okay. So you got to have something prepared because you can't just say, oh, some people say, well, I want to show you everything. Let's book a call. And then people get real defiant. No, 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 no. What's this about? You might as well just be able to say something, right? It's a private. Now, again, you word this the way you want. This is my little methodology. You say what works for you, or what your leader teaches you. It's a private membership, allows members an amazing platform of valued benefits along with an incredible potential income stream for anyone who's interested in sharing the membership. In other words, what are they going to do? They're going to share them out. I always talk, by the way, when I talk about when I get in my calls a minute, I'll explain the 10-minute overview. I always talk about sharing because a lot of people lock up with that, can't talk to anyone, and they won't be interested. You could show them gold, gold dripping from your hands, and they'll go, nah, I don't want to talk to anyone. So I always cover that in my little, what I call my interview. Okay. We'll talk about that. So here's my point. You make a pitch, 3 people a day. You wait for a response. Hopefully they say, yeah, I'd like to look at this further. There's your 31 a day. Now, what are we doing with them? I think the first step should always be just don't try to get them right on a Zoom because then they don't even know why they're there. You could book the Zoom, but I always want to initially have a conversation. Now, until you get good at it, you can have Danny or one of the other leaders on the phone say, look, when can we do a 10-minute call? You don't have to tell them I'm going to get Danny on because then they get all scared. They're going to get this hard sell. Just say, when can we do a quick 5-minute call? I want to talk to you. Then when you get on, you say, hey, by the way, I got one of my top guys on Danny. He knows this better than me. Danny, just tell him a little bit what we're doing, and let Danny just takes over. Okay, so you're not being sneaky. So you don't fumble and bumble until you knew. Once you get a little under your belt, this should be easy, guys. It's just being what in relationship with people, being a human being to another person. Okay, so whether it's a 3-way or you could do this yourself. Okay, what your goal is, you're trying to get them to open up a little bit about what they always say, expose their pain. What are they looking for? Don't talk about the membership yet. We've got to talk about that a little bit, but say, Jim, let me ask you, we got something we can really help with, not only a valued membership, but we got a way where the people can really earn some additional income. Where are you at as far as that? Are you open to that? And I always ask them, if this is something solid, would they be comfortable sharing it? Okay, I don't go any further if they won't say, yeah, absolutely. If this makes sense to me, because guys, you'll be surprised. I show this to people. I waste 35 minutes of my time and they go, well, it's not my type to go talk to people about. Why didn't you tell me that in the first place? You know why they didn't tell me that? Because I didn't ask. So I always ask, look, if this, are you okay? If this makes sense to you, uh, this is how we make money. We make money by sharing this with others. You okay with that? Yeah, absolutely. So get that out of the way first, okay? At least in my book, okay? Now you book the next step. So I always try to do a five, even if I book a Zoom when I first talk to them, I'm going to have this little 5 minute talk before. I never get them on a Zoom or let them do any probing around themselves without some initial conversation, massage their brain a little. Okay. You'll get good at that as you go. Now, if it's just product or they want to look at the travel, we got to work with them on the product, the service side. Okay. If you don't think the business is the right away first step. Okay. And that's fine. A lot of people get excited about the value of the membership, the product, the service. Then of course, they open up to making money and sharing it at that point. Okay. Now you could book them right into a live or recorded Zoom. Okay, right away. We have it on, we have Zoom set up on websites. We got live Zooms we'll do a couple times a week or a month, whatever it may be. That's your goal. But if you can do that and they're open to it, great. You don't have to handhold a little bit, but I'll always have that little talk with them first. Now, we also have what's called a 9-day buddy pass where it's a free enrollment. They haven't committed to, they're one of those. I always try to get them on the Zoom first and then give them the buddy pass to follow up where they can look at more videos and get a little more educated. But some people, you know how they are. I can't do 2 o'clock, or they're going to insist. Can you send me anything? Could you get on a Zoom? No, no. Can you send me anything? Well, send them. All you could do. So I'm going to send you a 90 buddy pass. Okay. I make it clear to them, but look, I'll give it to you. I can only give so many out a month, but a little scarcity, which is the truth, by the way, with some of the memberships. But I just need, there's a few videos. Can you take, the problem is it's not a problem, but there is some good information there that might take them an hour or two to go through, but just say, will you commit to look at, just keep it simple. You commit to looking at a couple of the videos if I send this to you. Yeah, absolutely. The first one, if we set this up properly, will be a membership overview. Then they can look at the different parts of the membership, the product, and they can even look at the compensation plan if they choose to. That's all built in to their buddy pass, what leads them to their back office where they can see everything. Okay. So I don't care what you do with them, guys. My goal is that you're either having an initial call with them or you're letting them play around with the buddy pass. They might look at a couple things. What are you trying to do with the initial member? You get one a day that you're doing, that agree to do something with, and this is what you're doing with them. Call, a buddy pass, booking them on a Zoom. But what we're ultimately trying to do from the little massaging we do initially is to get 10 people to see the plan. So this is all within a month's work. Now, this might overlap to the second month, but really this is all, if you talk to 190 people, 3 a day, 1 a day, when you end the month of October, you should have 30 people on that list, right? And now you're in process. It might take a while for them to go through the first look, and then eventually you want 10 people that see the plan. How do we show the plan? Very simple, guys. I zipped through it too quick. We do live Zooms done by your team or the company. You tie into that. We'll teach you where all those are, okay? You can direct them to watch the presentation. We're going to have it built in my mind. We're going to have the 9-day buddy pass. We'll get them to the back office. We'll have the membership part of the Zoom and the compensation part of the Zoom that they can watch, okay? So I don't care how they watch it, okay? As long as they watch the full presentation. It's much better on a live presentation. If you can meet with them, okay, individually over coffee, we have a little 2-page handout. You can sit there and go over it with them. If you want to pull it up on your computer, you can do that. So do a little house meeting if you want. So meeting with them individually is number one, but sometimes that's not doable. A live Zoom where they get on, a live Zoom done by you or someone where you definitely have their attention, they're right on the Zoom call. That's the second best. If you have to revert to actually letting them watch the presentation on their own, through, an online platform, that's number three, but it works. It's still considered an exposure to the compensation plan. Now, especially if you have them book it on their own, you always book a follow-up to help them decide what the next step would be. Okay. And sometimes I give them the buddy pass. So that could be the follow-up. You got on a live Zoom. Now I say, I'm going to send you a buddy pass. There's some more videos. You can look at it again, get a little more clearer of the membership benefits. So again, this is all a little bit how you want to approach it. I like to show the plan, then give the buddy pass. Some people like to give the buddy pass so they get exposed to it and then show the plan. This is all a little learning curve, and a lot depends on who's your mentor and how they like to pitch this. Okay, but the goal is to get 10 people to see the program, the full program, and then to follow up with them. Okay, that perfect sense. And I always book the follow up before I lose them. There's nothing worse than if you do a Zoom and there's a bunch of people on and you can't really follow up with them, and you say, okay, guys, well, whoever brought you in, they'll get back to you. Well, if they don't have that booked, what happens is you start playing phone tag, right? I call you up, Jimmy, I wanted to let you know what you like best about what you saw, but you get their voicemail and they don't call you back. And then you don't know, should I call them right away? Should I wait 3 days? It's like when you're trying to go out with a woman there. It's like, oh, I don't want to be a pain, but she didn't return my call. Do I wait 3 days to call you? So it's always better just book the follow-up. Say, Jim, we're going to get in the Zoom tonight at 7. I think you're going to love what you hear, but you're going to have questions. How about tomorrow at 11? What works for you? Let's book a 10, keep it simple. They have more questions to go along. Let's book a 10-minute follow-up call where we can review a little bit what you saw, and I can answer any initial question. Do that, lock it in before they go off and view the presentations. That makes sense? Okay. Now, guys, I'm not trying to throw too much at you, but I don't want you to miss out. I want you to be successful. So some of these little things are things I learned over the years. I used to always say, yeah, I'll call you in a couple of days, and then you lose them. And every day that goes by after they saw the presentation, they lose a little bit of what they saw, and they get colder and colder and colder. By the time you finally get them, they're like, yeah, gee, I don't know, Bob. I mean, I'm trying to remember some of the things I saw. I'm really busy right now. And you're like, they could have been so great at this. Okay. So sense of urgency is not being a pain in the neck. It's just doing your job. Okay. Now, from those 10 people seeing the plan with some follow-up, I think it's almost impossible. 1047, good, we're good. Not to get at least 2 to 3 people enrolled per month. Now, guys, I'm telling you, if you can enroll one person every other couple months, you'd be doing great. I'm just showing you, without killing yourself and some proper follow-up, that you can enroll 2 to 3 people a month. You're going to explode financially if you could do that, okay? And the last thing to this whole enrollment process, we're going from once people, you remember, you talk to 3 people. Once one person says, yeah, give me a call next week or send me a video, whatever the follow-up, the first step is, if you don't put them on paper somewhere, I don't care if you do it on your computer, your phone, some type of, list you could do on your phone. I'm old school. Write them down. Jimmy, I sent him a video. Okay. Keep a couple of lines for each person. I have a sheet that has 30 people on there. Or each, where is it? We're in August. We're on August 10th, 11th. I got 10 names, all right, new names. So the people that you look at, that you go back every week and say, where did I leave off? Those are people from the prior months, okay? So each month, you should end up with 30 names on your list. Does that make sense? But you got to track them. So every week, when I plan my week, what I'm going to do, I got to look at each name and say, where, because guys, I'm telling you, we get busy with life. If you start, oh yeah, I forgot this. Oh man, he was on Chris's presentation. I didn't follow up with them because you can't keep it straight in your head. You got to write it on paper, look at the names each week and say, even if you don't keep track of exactly what you're doing with it, it'll mind jog your memory. Oh, they saw the plan. I got to give them a video. I got to give them a call. I promised them some product, whatever it is. But have it on paper where you don't get jumbled up. Then you start losing people. Then you get frustrated. I know exactly where I stand with people that I showed the plan with 3 months ago if they haven't made a decision. Now, I don't know why. They've been busy. But whatever the case, until you make a conscious decision, they either join or they're not interested. Oh yeah, Bob, when I get back, yeah, I'm back, but I'm really bit. At some point, you just cross them off the list. Okay, is they're driving you crazy and you're driving them crazy. Okay, so having organization to this methodology of tracking is so important. Okay, what's the last step? Couldn't be any easier. You're bringing in 2 or 3 people a month. What is the? How do you get that? How did I go from a couple of people I bring in a month to thousands, 10,000 people in my last organization? Duplication. People that are better than you. That's what you want. People that are hungrier than you. That's what you want. But you gotta hold their hand. So what do I do? Duplication is simple. The same steps that you're following, you do with them. You can do your personals, right? You should be responsible for all your personals. And if some reason one of your personals brings in a guy, and don't rely on that person to be the best mentor. If you got someone hot, remember, you get paid down to infinity. So if you got a leg where there's someone hot that's really burning this up, getting people on Zooms, why are you leaving it up to your Uncle Harry, who brought them in by luck, to be their mentor? You take control. So you have to take control of some people that, you kind of in your mind, you formulate, who am I? We used to call them go nows. Who are my people that want this as bad as me? Sometimes even more. And those are the ones you follow up with. So everyone gets plugged into the getting started training. From there, you got to keep, right, in weekly conversations with them, right? They should all plug them into as many company and team meetings and Zooms and follow-ups to keep. One thing about my last company, okay, some of the things we had to do to jump through hoops was tough, but I got to give them so much credit. They kept the camaraderie of people that, even if they weren't making money, they didn't want to leave because they love the people, they love the interaction. We got to do the same here. So we're going to have live discussions, or we call them corings, every week. People get together, they can share, they bond. Yes, and we can do live get-togethers. I know with COVID and the way people are busy, those are a little less frequent. But as a company and as leaders, we're still going to try to pull people together at times. Okay. And the biggest thing is have this, which I just talked about, some weekly contact with your go now people. A week should never go by that you're saying that you got a leader in one of your legs or multiple leaders that you don't talk to them. I don't care if it's, what do you have to do? A couple people a day, 10, 15 people a week that you're in contact with. Remember, you're doing your recruiting, that 3 a day, 1 a day with we just talked about. But then the second part to this is the duplication, meaning that you also got to work with your leaders. How are they doing? Are they stuck? Are they doing great? Maybe you can learn something from them. So that's what this business is, guys. New blood, and then working with the ones you have and getting them to duplicate. Not complicated. Okay, but it's work. But once you get the pumps primed and you get 10, 15, 20 people that are duplicating, you don't matter anymore. And next thing you know, every month your group's increasing, your checks are getting bigger, and you can then go on vacation, it doesn't matter. The people are doing it with or without you. But initially, you got to be the spark plug, okay, if you want this. All right, I'm done. I hope I didn't overwhelm you. Just a little at a time. Tie into the people, get trained, listen to other speakers, and listen to Christopher, our leader, and this will all make perfect sense to you. Okay, love you guys. Let's rock and roll.